चलो चलो
excluded the Muslims. Why have you included Christians and Buddhists?
देखा आपने लापरवाही का नतीजा है.
Because they have majority countries. The Christians have the Europe and the America. The Buddhists have Nepal, Bhutan and Sri Lanka. We believe, TMC believes it's unconstitutional, so we will not implement it in Bengal.
Which provision of the constitution do they get to say that this piece of central legislation will not be implemented by the state government of West Bengal? There's no reason for the Indian government to trust Pakistani Muslims, Afghan Muslims or Bangladeshi Muslims. And two, I as a practicing Hindu in Bharat clearly have a heightened sense of suspicion as far as these three communities from these three states are concerned, given the history of their treatment of Hindus in their part of the world and the treatment of Hindus in undivided Bharat.
हेलो एवरीवन, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे इस नए चैनल पर। आज के इस वीडियो में जो हम डिबेट देखने वाले हैं इसमें आपको दिखाई देंगे यहाँ पे हम सबके फेवरेट यानी कि आनंद रंगनाथन जी, साथ ही यहाँ पे आपको दिखाई देंगे सबके फेवरेट यानी कि जो इस चैनल पे सब सुपरस्टार रहे हैं यानी कि जे साई दीपक। तो वीडियो में काफ़ी ज़्यादा मजा आने वाला है। इसमें आपको विपक्ष के रूप में दिखाई देंगे यहाँ पे डीएमके के प्रवक्ता, साथ ही यहाँ पे आपको दिखाई देंगे तृणमूल कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता। अगर इन दोनों पार्टियों के बारे में आप नहीं जानते तो एक पार्टी यहाँ पे साउथ इंडिया की है, साथ ही दूसरी पार्टी जो है वो पश्चिम बंगाल की है जहाँ की मुख्यमंत्री ममता बनर्जी हैं। तो वीडियो में काफ़ी ज़्यादा मजा आएगा। इस वीडियो की टॉपिक जो होती है वो होता है CAA, जहाँ पे यहाँ पे तृणमूल कांग्रेस और डीएमके इसका विरोध कर रहे होते हैं कि इसमें माइनॉरिटी जो है हमारे देश की यानी कि जो एक पक्ष है मुस्लिम पक्ष, उसको क्यों नहीं लिया गया CAA में, बाकी सिख और बुद्धिस्ट और ईसाइयों को क्यों लिया गया है। तो वीडियो में काफ़ी ज़्यादा मजा आएगा, इसलिए वीडियो को एंड तक जरूर से देखिएगा। साथ ही अगर आप इस चैनल पर नए हो, पहली बार आए हो तो प्लीज़ चैनल को सब्सक्राइब और वीडियो को एक लाइक जरूर से कर दीजिएगा ताकि हमारा मोटिवेशन मिले और वीडियो जल्दी जल्दी आ पाए। तो प्लीज़ एंड तक जरूर से वीडियो में बने रहिए ताकि यूट्यूब इसे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सजेस्ट करे। तो चलिए आज के इस कमाल के डिबेट वीडियो को अब स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं।
Is a law which discriminates people on the basis of religion.
कुछ भी।
India is a secular country. Nobody can be discriminated because they profess a particular religion.
क्या बोला तूने?
There may be the defense. The BJP says it is only open for a certain community of people. It excludes people from the Muslim community. So therefore, on that ground, we are saying CAA cannot test the constitutionality.
आइए देखते हैं, मजा आएगा। Sai Deepak had written in 2020, but you know, because we have signed live, hear it from him.
Who is he? Who is he? Is he the author of the Indian Constitution?
Who should we call? No, who do you need?
Judgment.
Who should we call?
No. Why? So what if he says? So what?
He's a lawyer, sir. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. Here is arguments. Counter him on facts.
Yeah. He's a lawyer. That's what. No. You are saying, you are asked though. Oh, Mr. Sai Deepak has written. So what?
अभी बता दे भाई. अभी बता दे.
No, I think Pranesh ji, I think you may have stoked his ego. It's okay, don't worry. I think we'll just stick to the facts.
सही पकड़े हैं.
So, point is very simple. I think these are done to death cliched arguments, and I say this with no disrespect to the other gentleman, but only with no respect for his position.
What?
Because as far as I am concerned, Article 14 does not apply to this decision or to this legislation, because in the context of citizenship, the union government enjoys greater prerogative and it has no obligation to follow an open door policy in the context of both asylum and citizenship. That's point number one. There are at least two judgments of the Supreme Court, specifically in the context of the availability of Article 14 rights to foreigners, saying that other than manifest arbitrariness, there is absolutely no basis for any foreigner to avail of Article 14, and this does not even apply to those people who are yet to enter the territory of Bharat.
अरे बाप रे, ये तो धोती खोल रहा है.
The Article 14 judgments that have been delivered by the Supreme Court in the context of foreigners was in the context of those foreigners who had already entered. When their rights are limited, imagine what kind of rights a foreigner can have. Effectively, the argument that is being made by the other side is that any person from Tibet, or let's say from the Uyghur province of China, or any person who's persecuted in Palestine, or any person who's persecuted anywhere in Middle East, should have the same rights as the Hindus of Pakistan to the doors of Bharat, because Bharat claims to be a secular state.
आप क्रोनोलॉजी समझ लीजिए.
तो अगर आप यहाँ तक डिबेट को देख रहे हो, उम्मीद है कि ये वाली डिबेट वीडियो आपको जरूर से पसंद आ रही होगी। अगर ये डिबेट वीडियो आपको पसंद आ रही है तो आपको कुछ नहीं करना, आपको उस वीडियो को एंड तक देखना है, क्योंकि जब आप पूरा देखोगे तो यूट्यूब इसे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों के पास सजेस्ट करेगा और इस पर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा व्यूज़ आ पाएंगे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग इन सारी सच्चाइयों से वाकिफ़ हो पाएंगे। तो प्लीज़ एंड तक जरूर से इस वीडियो में बने रहिए।
According to me, this argument doesn't work. One, because this is not a provision for exclusion, it is a provision for limited inclusion.
और अभी तो रुको, क्लाइमैक्स अभी बाकी।
Therefore, the doors of asylumship and citizenship for every other person through the conventional route under the Citizenship Act continues to be open. There is no discrimination on that front. The only difference is the domiciliary requirement of 11 years, which has been reduced to 6 years. Beyond that, there is absolutely no change whatsoever in principle. So the point that we have to understand is that when people say, what do we do to Ahmadiyas? What do we do to Rohingyas? I'm surprised. All these people are so concerned about the plight of Ahmadiyas and Rohingyas. Not one has managed to raise a little finger to point out the plight of Hindus who are being persecuted across these states.
अरे बाप रे, ये तो धोती खोल रहा है.
So they think of the Ahmadiyas, they think of everybody else only to defeat the rights of persecuted Hindus, because the fundamental argument that is sought to be defeated is that Bharat is the natural homeland of Hindus. That is an argument that they don't want to concede under any circumstances. They are saying Bharat, because it's a secular state, is equally a home to everybody else in the world. That is the argument that they wish to present. It's civilizationally stupid and ahistoric. Constitutionally, it has no basis whatsoever. And 3, Article 14 does not apply.
Mr. Saravanan is not convinced.
I'm not surprised.
See, Sri Lankan Tamils, they are Hindus, they are persecuted by Sinhalese majority, but the CAA leaves out Sri Lankan Tamils who are here from the purview of CAA. So we are saying this is discriminatory.
अच्छा.
And when you are saying the other thing is available, Article 11 years is there, you are giving a special treatment to someone else. We are saying that is discriminatory. That is the basis for discrimination.
Okay. That
is why we are saying it is running afoul. See, that's what every conceivable opportunity, BJP does not take into the consideration of the welfare of the Tamils or the people from Tamil Nadu.
Right.
That is why we opposed. We moved an amendment. Our leader, Mr. Trichy Shiva, moved an amendment which included Muslims and also Sri Lankan Tamils.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है।
यहाँ तक वीडियो को देख रहे हो तो उम्मीद है कि ये वाली वीडियो आपको जरूर से पसंद आ रही होगी। अगर ये वीडियो आपको पसंद आ रही होगी तो प्लीज़ एंड तक जरूर से देखिए। साथ इस वीडियो को एक लाइक, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके रेड जो बेल आइकन होता है उसे जरूर से प्रेस कर लीजिए, ताकि आप तक हमारे सारे नई वीडियोज़ की नोटिफिकेशन सबसे पहले पहुँचे और सारे वीडियोज़ को आप एक्सक्लूसिवली देख पाएँ। तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब जरूर से कर लें।
Only set of organizations which have actually gone to Sri Lanka to actually address the situation of Sri Lankan Hindus or Tamil Hindus, so to speak, in Sri Lanka are actually organizations relating to VHP and other organizations who had to go specifically to preserve the rights of the Tamil community with respect to the Kadirgamma temple.
You are absolutely right.
I am surprised that the DMK has no love lost for the Hindus of Tamil Nadu, but suddenly thinks of Tamil Hindus and their rights when it comes to the context of Sri Lanka. This must be a historical position in the history of DMK. 2, please realize one thing. The position of Tamil Hindus has significantly improved after the destruction of this organization called LTT, which Dravidinist forces supported all along.
यही नहीं, अभी और सुनिए।
2, why hasn't the DMK or any other party deemed it fit to make a representation to any Indian government with respect to accelerated citizenship for Tamil Hindus before the CAA or before the CAB in its earlier avatar in 2016? This is an issue that is being raised for the very first time to politicize a humanitarian intervention. Until then, they did not even deem it fit to raise this issue. Nobody bothered to ask what was the status of the Hindus of Sri Lanka or the Tamils of Sri Lanka or their temples or their institutions when it was being ravaged by war. It was the Indian government that kept doing this on a regular basis before the BJP and after the BJP. So I am not going to give sole credit to the BJP in this regard. However, it is Hindu organizations which actually went to Sri Lanka to address the situation of Sri Lankan Tamil Hindus. That's a fact. And DMK certainly cannot step up out of the blue to start taking credit for it. They've done nothing so far.
Riju
So,
Datta.
according to me, these are matters of international relations, and if Bharat and its government is in a position to come to the conclusion that it can lean on the Sri Lankan government to protect the interest of Tamil Hindus better, and it does not need to provide for a CAA, that is the option. Since unfortunately, neither Pakistan or Afghanistan, which is controlled by Taliban today, or Bangladesh, takes care of the condition of Hindu minorities there, we are forced to provide for a CAA. Had that not been the case, the CAA would be completely irrelevant and unnecessary.
First question is, we are giving citizenship to the persecuted Hindus in Islamic nations. Very good. Very good. No problem, no issues. But my question is, you have excluded the Muslims. Why have you included Christians and Buddhists?
देखा आपने लापरवाही का नतीजा है.
Because they have majority countries. The Christians have the Europe and the America. The Buddhists have Nepal, Bhutan and Sri Lanka. You could have done this law only for Hindus. Secondly, because religion in my country cannot be the sole reason to say that you are a citizen or a refugee, we believe, TMC believes it's unconstitutional, so we will not implement it in Bengal.
If the TMC swears by the Constitution, under which provision of the Constitution do they get to say that this piece of central legislation will not be implemented by the state government of West Bengal and Bengal? Please.
अरे बाप रे, ये तो धोती खोल रहा है.
You know that tomorrow morning, one of our MPs, Mahua Moitra, her petition is online and it is next in line to be heard by the Supreme Court. We will fight it by the legal system. I am sure the legal system will give us, in all its wisdom, will give us its views and we will follow it.
ठीक है, समझ गया.
Now, you did not answer my question, which I actually asked you, that if you are saying giving security to Hindus persecuted in Islamic countries, why have you included Christians and Buddhists when they have their own countries?
As far as the argument that the petition filed by Ms. Moitra is concerned answers the question, that petition does not answer the question of the provision whatsoever. That petition at best challenges the CAA. It does not answer the question of which provision gives the TMC government in the state of West Bengal to say it shall not implement the CAA in West Bengal. That's point number one.
सही पकड़े हैं.
Point number two, why only the Christians, why not others? Well, here's a straight answer to this. There is no reason for the Indian government to trust Pakistani Muslims, Afghan Muslims, or Bangladeshi Muslims. And two, I, as a practicing Hindu in Bharat, clearly have a heightened sense of suspicion as far as these three communities from these three states are concerned, given the history of their treatment of Hindus in their part of the world and the treatment of Hindus in undivided Bharat.
मजा आया.
Three, as far as Hindus are concerned and as far as Christians are concerned, you must realize, why is it that Pakistani Christians have a particular origin? These were people who converted to Christianity when they did not have anybody else to help them at the time of partition, because while everybody else was being forced to vacate that part of the world, thanks to partition, these people were literally orphans.
तो आपने देखा डिबेट में किस तरीके से यहाँ पे जो तृणमूल कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता होते हैं वो यहाँ पे सवाल उठाते कि आखिर जो ये CAA है इसमें माइनॉरिटीज़ जो हैं उसमें सिर्फ मुस्लिम पक्ष को अलग क्यों किया गया, बाकी सारे बुद्धिस्ट और जो यहाँ पे आपको देखने को मिलेंगे सिख और ईसाइयों को क्यों लिया गया और हिंदुओं को क्यों लिया गया. इस पर जो साई दीपक होते हैं उन्हें लीगल और एक स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड आंसर जो देते हैं वो देख के काफ़ी ज़्यादा मज़ा आया. तो अगर आपको भी इस वीडियो को देखकर मज़ा आया तो आपको कुछ नहीं करना, आपको उस वीडियो को लाइक कर देना है, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लेना है, साथ ही सेकंड चैनल का लिंक और साथ में हमारे इंस्टाग्राम और फेसबुक पेज का लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा. तो प्लीज़ मेक श्योर वहाँ ज़रूर से फॉलो करें, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि कभी यूट्यूब का नोटिफिकेशन आपको ना मिले तो आपको वहाँ पर ये सारी वीडियोज़ देखने को मिल जाएंगे. तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब जरूर से कर लीजिए एंड ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस वीडियो को शेयर कर दीजिए, व्हाट्सएप फेसबुक हर जगह इस वीडियो को फैला दीजिए ताकि वीडियो को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा रीच मिल पाए और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग इन सारी सच्चाइयों से वाकिफ़ हो पाएँ. तो हम मिलते हैं किसी और वीडियो में किसी नए टॉपिक के डिबेट के साथ. तब तक के लिए राधे राधे.